Welcome to day 26 of the Love Dare. And before we get into today's Love Dare, I do just want to thank Kevin for receiving my little teasing online really, really well. I'm sure many of you by now have seen the little funny video that I put up about Kevin.
That was hilarious.
To bring a little bit of levity, you know? I mean, this is serious stuff for sure, but it just gives us a little giggle, a little comic relief. I think my timing was really, really good because I did it right before the Love Dare on forgiving.
See, but she thinks she got away scot-free. All I know is this is a 40-day...
Honey, day 25, love forgives. It forgives.
Oh, I forgive you. That's not an
I'm
issue.
sure in here somewhere is love does not seek revenge. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. We haven't got to it yet, but we might. Today's Love Dare is on love is responsible. And the first words actually in the book for this chapter are today will be hard. And this is one of those things, gosh, that is hard. One of the questions they ask is, are you taking responsibility for your own faults? We are quick to justify our motives, so quick to deflect criticism, so quick to find fault, especially with our spouse, who is always the easiest one to blame. And I would confess right off the top that there have been times where I absolutely have blamed you for things because it is easy to blame you. I know you're still gonna love me, but sometimes taking responsibility is tough and it's heavy, and it's easier to deflect, and it's almost a default response.
It's interesting because a lot of this we've had to do in different times in our marriage. Right now, it's easier to talk about this because it's nothing pressing right at the moment that we're going through. But I remember going through a few of these moments where we've had to sit in the car and look at each other and figure this out as we're going, okay, what got us here? What are we doing? So these are very tough moments. Like I say, today for us, we can look back and we can talk, and there are some things we're still tweaking, but those moments looking back were one of the toughest days. I love what happens after, but going through those moments of discovery is very painful.
Yeah, I think taking responsibility can be a really heavy and difficult thing, and at the time it's like carrying a burden, and what you want to do is you want to, in a lot of ways, get that off, and sometimes the way you try to do that is by putting it on someone else. Definitely not a good way to handle it, but I think something we do naturally. We do it right from childhood when we say, it wasn't me, you know, it was him, it was her. So it's kind of a natural human response.
We've talked about this before. We talk to friends, to coworkers, to other people that we deal with, and there's a character flaw that I find is very telling. When you cannot take the blame for something and everything in your life is someone else's fault, that to me is a real symptom of a bigger issue. And I think in our marriage we need to, instead of always deflecting, what part of this did I play? What role did I play? Even if it's clear to say it was her fault, which it usually is, isn't. We need to make sure we can own the piece of the problem that is ours, because that's the only way we're gonna avoid bitterness, and I just think it strengthens our relationship if we do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think since part of this journey for us, for me specifically, has been about learning to be more authentic and transparent, one of the things that I would confess today is that taking criticism from Kevin is not something I have typically done well. And if those of you, look at him grinning, he can't even let me even say it.
I'm just saying.
I haven't responded well. He tries to point things out even in a nice way, and I don't take criticism from him well. And you know, I want to confess that, and I actually want to ask you to forgive me for the poor way that I've handled that, and just commit to working on that area and trying to do better.
I appreciate that, and I will try to be better at pointing it out, maybe.
Or maybe
or
not.
maybe not.
In a nice way.
In a nice way.
In a nice way. Oops, sorry.
Lost
the
our screen for
computer,
a second.
Technical difficulty. Anyway, we're at 5 minutes here. I'm thinking we should shut her down, or people are just going to be going to sleep on the other end of the camera.
So not necessarily telling us all of your things you're confessing, but let us know how it goes. Especially those of you that are doing it that your spouse does not know you're doing it, and all of a sudden you come up to them
Yes.
and say, "Hey, I got something I want to talk to you about." How did that go?
Yeah.
What was it like? I mean, we know what we're doing. We're both having to come up with something and talk about it, but what happened the other way? So we'd love to hear your stories. So let us know.
Talk to us.
Bye.
See you soon.